everybody. Welcome to another episode of MOONIELICIous. My name is Luna TK.
And I'm Michelle from Heart Panorama.
And today's episode, full warning, is probably going to make you hungry because today's topic is food in Sailor Moon.
Alongside Sailor Moon, we're also mentioning other brands, products, or services. Any form of product placement in this podcast solely serves discussion purposes and is not paid or sponsored in any way. If you aren't familiar with Sailor Moon, please be aware that this podcast may contain spoilers. We recommend you to watch or read the series before listening to our podcast.
So, Michelle, what was the reason that we decided to do this topic today?
I think it was because food somehow appears all the time in like every other episode at least. And it's a very present topic in this series.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, let's face it. Serena had her nickname of Meatball Head, and in the Japanese version, her nickname was Odango. And, well, that's another food. That's a dumpling. So, I mean, even just starting with that, there's a lot of food. So, the presence of food in the series is very prominent.
Yeah, and also, I think Usagi likes to eat a lot, and Luna always teases her about it. Like, she always reminds her of not eating too much because she will become fat and so on. So, I think food and somehow becoming fat or trying not to become fat is a huge aspect in the series. Which
is kind of bad. Like, that's a little bad, but I mean, overall, it's just silly. It's just, I mean, there are a lot of bad guys that are based on food, like sweets and all of the stuff, which we'll get into. And there's a lot of like episodes that just revolve around food. I think, honestly, what inspired us to do this episode was when we were looking for quotes and we came across several from episode 76 from the original anime. And which was just completely revolved around cake. And I remember just, like, for some reason, like, back, like, in the 2000s, like, the early 2000s, when, like, you couldn't really find, like, full episodes of Sailor Moon. You could only find, like, video clips. One of my favorite clips that I had, like, Sailor Moon clips I had on my computer, was the clip that I had of when they were in, like, that little cake shop, and all of them are just, like, freaking out and just, like, eating as much cake as they could. And so it was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, we definitely have to have an episode just about food in Sailor Moon, because it's just fun. And there's a lot of it in the series, and there's a lot to talk about. So, yeah.
Yeah, I also think it's funny to have like the main character love food so much, and it's almost a running gag in the series. Like, you're always waiting for food to come up in some way or another. Like in the episode we recently talked about, I think it was not the second episode, but very early on in the season when Makoto got introduced and she brought her lunch. And Usagi was asking if she could have something of it, like she wanted Makoto to share it with her, and Makoto was so surprised that Usagi wasn't afraid of her. And actually, food in this case was a key moment in the series, because that way the two of them got to know each other.
This is actually pretty true. I noticed that as well. It's actually like food is kind of like a thing that like people bond over in the series a little bit.
Also in reality. In real life as well.
Reality. I mean, it brings people together. People, I mean, at a party, like, yeah, I mean, usually you want to have food at a party. Like, it's just, it's a little weird if you don't. And there's actually, like, other situations like this, too, where they bond over food. There's actually an episode in the live action in PGSM where Usagi and Mamoru actually start having more time together, and there's this really cute moment where she's, like, eating, I think it was, like, a little bun, and he was, like, looking at her, and so she, like, split it in half and, like, offered him some, and it was,
I remember
like,
that.
One of those moments where they... Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think
don't remember
so.
What episode that is, but it was, like, the sweetest thing.
But I see it before my inner eye.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so like there's that. And also, I mean, let's just say this. Within the first like 2 minutes of the series, Usagi is running out of the house with a piece of toast in her mouth.
Mm-hmm. That sets the tone
it
for the
just
whole series.
automatically from the get-go has food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And also when she had to stand in front of the classroom and she was like, "Oh, I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna eat my lunch." I think it was in the first episode as well. Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Like
was in the first episode. It was
both
like she got to
versions,
school
I
late.
think.
Yep, and I think in most versions of the series, like I don't remember how it worked in the PGSM, how it started off, but I'm pretty sure she probably did run out of the house with food. And yeah, in both Crystal and the manga and in the original, she's running out with food in her mouth. So, but yeah, coming back to one of the things about the series is I was thinking and I was like kind of asking myself like, why is food like so important in Sailor Moon? And I think it's just now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably a lot of it is because it's like a bonding thing. One of the things when you know that you're becoming closer with that friend is honestly when you share food. You're like, hey, you know, you want some of this? Like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and also sharing which favorite food you have and comparing it and asking the other person, do you like this too? And then finding out, oh, they like the same food as I do, and so on. I think that's a really important aspect of a friendship, actually.
Yeah, well, it's the whole sharing thing. That's a good way to put it. You know, with friendships, it's about, you know, share. And for like, well, Usagi doesn't really share her food, does she? I don't think she does. But everybody else shares their food with her.
She just threw a dumpling at Mamoru one time. Like, what episode was that? I can't remember, but I see it before my inner eye that I think one time she was really upset with him because it was still a stage where they were teasing each other and not really liking each other. And I think she was eating a dumpling and then he said something that upset her and she threw a dumpling at him and he just caught it and ate it. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
We'll have to look this up after recording.
Is that legit? Yeah, you're gonna have to look this up because I do not remember that, but that sounds funny. Like I'm pretty sure. Like, okay, she threw like when they first met, like she threw her like paper at him, but I think there was another time she like threw something behind her and it hit him a second time, and he says, "Hey, I'm not a garbage can."
Yeah, and one time she also threw a shoe at him, but it was an accident. But I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure that she also once threw a dumpling at him and he caught it.
That's funny. You know, and there's other things too where she used it as comfort food. Like in the second season, in the original, when they broke up, like there's this really sad scene where she's like sitting in front of the fridge and she's just like filling her mouth with food.
Yeah.
Like it's
in her pajamas.
Yeah.
PJs.
It's like a comfort thing for her. Yep. I like, you know, I wonder if a little bit of that like inspired some future like magical girl like shows, because Sailor Moon did inspire a lot of magical girl shows like Pretty Cure and Tokyo Mew Mew and a ton of others. But Tokyo Mew Mew, for example, all of their characters are named after food. Like Ichigo is a strawberry. And then there's Mew lettuce.
That's so cute.
like there's like, so I mean, it makes me wonder if, and they work in a cafe. So like it makes me wonder if like some of the things, I mean, this is me totally just coming out of left field. This could be just, but it makes me wonder, like it just begs to ask the question of, did some of this like food stuff carry over into other magical girl animes? Because like I said, like things such as like Tokyo Mew Mew, and I'm pretty sure that there are Pretty Cure like seasons that revolve around food as well, like all the characters about food. I feel like there's several magical girl animes that are like food.
Maybe
like the characters are all like food.
But I
Definitely
think,
Tokyo Mew Mew though, and I know that that was
but I also think that the fact that at least the main character likes food so much, like Usagi really loves food and thinks a lot about food. And I think that makes her very relatable because a lot of us in real life also like food. And maybe it's a stereotype and maybe not. But I really don't know a lot of people who don't like food. I actually
no,
can't
I don't
think
think so.
of someone at the top of my head that really hates food because it's so something that almost everyone likes.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I just think she like normalizes just like, hey, I'm just a goofy, clumsy thing that loves food, just like everybody else. It just makes her more relatable, I think. I mean, I totally get it.
Hmm.
And I think last episode we were talking about how what would each character have in their purse?
Hmm.
And I straight up said like Usagi would have a piece of cake wrapped in tinfoil in her purse. Like and
It's a
like
character
that
trait. You
reminded me of
can't
my
help
mom.
it.
Well, it like reminds me of my mom. Like my mom like is a lot like Usagi. I
Hmm.
mean, I am too, but my mom, oh my gosh, like she's just like Usagi. And that's just something she would do as well, which is, totally like just makes that's why my mom loved Usagi so much. When I made my
Hmm.
mom like watch the series with me, she was like, "Oh my gosh." Because my mom is always eating. Like she loves like she like you wouldn't even know it, but like she's just constantly just picking away at food like like has like food just in her purse. So, yeah.
You know, come to think of it, actually, I think it can be a deeper topic because if you think of it, there are a lot of moments in the series that the topic comes up that, oh, you eat too much, Usagi, you're becoming fat, or so on. And I think it also sends a message to girls like it's okay to like food. You don't have to watch your food all the time. And I don't know, maybe it has a bit changed over the years. Like in the 90s, I think it was even more important to try to be slim and not eat so much. And I mean, especially in Japan, I think
Yeah.
maybe the pressure was even bigger. And it was like not, I don't know how to phrase it, but maybe not so. It was kind of frowned upon if a girl ate too much, maybe. I don't want to say anything wrong, but that's just my impression of like the culture and the time period that, especially in the 90s or like not today, girls tried more to be skinny and not eat so much. And I think over the years nowadays, it's become more normal to be like, oh, I eat so much, I love food, and I don't care so much about my outward appearance. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's very true. No, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like part of me like was thinking like, oh, I feel like sometimes, it's a bad thing like sometimes in Sailor Moon where they're like, oh, like Usagi, like
Yeah,
stop eating so much you're gonna get like fat.
yeah.
But like when I actually think about it, I mean, let's face it, she's the heroine of this series
Hmm.
and she's like there's nothing wrong with her and she just likes food and that's okay. Like she's the hero of the show. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like do what you like, be yourself. Like Usagi's just always herself. And again, like, when it comes to like bonding with other people, like it's because she's being herself. It's because she likes the food and she is just being her goofy, hey, that looks really good. It's a great icebreaker and it's just it kind of adds like a really good quality to her character.
I
That
don't
was
want to
good,
make, I don't
Michelle.
know if I'm making this up, but I kind of remember an episode where she also tried to exercise more and go on a diet. Do you remember an episode like
Yes, there
that?
was. That was like
And then
yep,
she tried
there
to
is an
like
episode like
eat
that.
nothing, and it was really not healthy. I can't
Yes.
remember exactly what happened at the end, but I think she kind of like figured out that it was not healthy to not eat anything. And I think that's also an episode
Yes.
that teaches you that no, you can't go from one extreme to the other. Just eat normally and healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're definitely, and like that episode is sometimes a little controversial, but yeah, that's like within the first like few episodes like in the series. And I never thought about it on that perspective, you know. I think in Moonylicious we try to look at it as you know, in positive perspectives here, and I think that makes sense for sure what you're saying just now.
Yeah, I'd never thought of it that way before either, but it's just that we're talking about it now, and then I'm trying to find a deeper meaning to all the food in the series. But yeah, I think it's good to try to interpret what the meaning of a topic in the series actually is. And in this case, in this episode that we're talking about food, we're actually thinking about it more, and then we realize there is actually more meaning to it. I don't know whether it was intended by the writers or by Naoko Takeuchi, or if it was just a coincidence, but it definitely has a deeper meaning to it.
For sure. There's actually, I was just thinking too, and I don't think I mentioned this earlier, in the Sailor Moon Super S movie, the Black Dream Hole, is very much revolved around food and sweets and stuff. And there's another moment where Chibiusa bonds over food with Pararu. That's how she makes friends with him. You know, they were looking at the cookies and stuff, and he made them like dance with his little flute. And then at the end, she was like, "Here," you know, like she had made these cookies for Mamoru, but she ended up giving them to him. Like it was this nice little like intimate like moment, and so and it kind of is like an intimate thing when you think about it, like sharing your food with somebody, you know, and like they had like this whole thing in the. Like when they were making all the cookies in the beginning, and there's this whole thing of how Usagi's cookies like may be beautiful, but they were like they tasted
Not...
like cardboard.
Not yummy.
But she put her love into it, and the whole like 3 o'clock fairy story about how it always cheered like Makoto up when they were like after school on Mondays. Because, you know, her mother always thought that it was the worst day of the week, and so she would, you know, make food for the kids. Like, she would make cookies and stuff, and just, it was really sweet. Like, I don't know, it was like a nice, like, I don't know, like cooking together and doing things like that. It's like a fun activity, you know what I mean?
Yes. Like, it's nice to see in the series.
It's definitely something that people can
do. It's nice to see in the series that they're also spending more time together and usually bonding over food, whether they're cooking together or in the cafe drinking milkshakes together. Or it's like every time they are spending their free time together, food is involved.
Yes. they like, there's the episode in the Super S series when when everybody's trying to figure out who Chibiusa has a crush on.
Oh, I was just thinking of that.
They were like, "Hey, let's have some girls' time," and they basically tried to bribe her with an ice cream to tell her to get her to tell them who it is that she has a crush on.
And where the 5 of them plus Mamoru were sitting in their booth at the cafe and then talking about Chibiusa having a boyfriend, and then I think Rei, and I don't know if it was only her but also Minako maybe, that spit their milkshake back into the glass again. Like every or was it coffee? I don't know. But it was like, what, Chibiusa has a boyfriend? Oh, they spit in their cup again.
It's definitely great comic relief, that's for sure. I love that
Classic.
That episode was I think for whatever reason, it seems like food, if I can recall correctly, is really prominent in the Super S season. Especially like, I think I had a DVD and there was like at least like several episodes in a row that had food involved. There was that one where they're trying to figure out who her boyfriend is, and then like a few episodes later, they had the episode where Usagi and Chibiusa actually switched ages.
Yeah.
And there's I think the monster was like a candy. It was like the monster in that, like, she was like a creepy, like, bunny. Was it a bunny? I think it was a creepy bunny. And like
Can't
she was like
remember.
kind of candy like. Yeah,
But
and
I
like I
found
just remember like they kept throwing.
but I found that a lot of villains in this season looked like candy because it kind of fits the circus theme of the whole season. Like you have bulls
Yeah.
and in different colors, and they look like candy or so on, or like lollipop, or I don't know. It kind of fits the theme.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think, I don't know, like they have the movie from that the movie that revolves around food and cookies and sweets is the movie from that season.
Yeah.
So
Everything's about food.
it's just all about food. It's just all about food.
Also, in the 5th season in Stars, I can think of a scene where Sailor Moon was actually transformed, like she was in her eternal form, and she ate cake. Like,
Yes.
she doesn't bother if she's in the middle of a fight. She can always eat cake, and I love that her character traits from her non-transformed form kind of transfers to her transformed form because she's still herself, like she's still Usagi even though she's Sailor Moon, and I found that hilarious that she's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna eat that cake.
Well, there's like she doesn't have a tiara in season 5, and so there's actually an episode, like it's episode 184, and she actually performed a very strange version of Moon Tiara action using a pizza. And it's so funny.
Versatile. Food is so versatile in this season.
I don't even know how that would work. It's a piece of pizza. Like it how does that even like spin the way she should have, like, I don't know, like joined a frisbee team, because she was actually really good at throwing the Moon Tiara action, tiara magic, or boomerang, however it is you want to refer to it, depending upon what version of the series you are watching.
But it's great that they add these
yeah.
nuances to the episode. Like, there's always a wink to, I don't know how to phrase it, but I mean, she hasn't used this Moon Tiara boomerang for ages, and then it comes up in this last season again. Like,
it brings it all full circle.
Exactly. With food.
With food. It's great. I still love that episode when that cake episode. Oh my gosh, it was just so funny. The cake shop, and Usagi's just eating every single like flavor possible, and so is everybody else for that matter. It's great. It's great. It just makes you feel so much better, like, about yourself, because you're like, oh hey, like that's me. I love cake, like, for sure. Like, it makes me feel better. I'm like, oh hey, like this is totally fine.
But not only cake, I'm just thinking of the episode where they were on a formal ball, I think, where they were all wearing ball gowns, and Mamoru was wearing a tuxedo. What a surprise. And it was this professor, I think, of Mamoru's that was hosting it. Could that be? And Usagi got so drunk. And she was talking about how to make a pudding. Like, okay, this is random.
Yes. So funny. Oh my gosh, I love that. I wish I could remember exactly how the quote went, but like...
there are a lot of memes on the internet.
Like, she was like shaking his hand and was like... I'm pretty sure it was like... I'm pretty sure it was like, nice to meet you. Mm-hmm. Was it like something like, nice to meet you, cream stew? Or something like that. It was like,
yeah.
Oh, it was so great. It was one of my favorite scenes of like all time.
I think when I get the chance, I'll have to check if the German version also uses the same jokes or if they have their own jokes, because, you know, when you translate a series into a different language, you have to figure out how to transfer the jokes into that language because they have different idioms and different ways of phrasing things. So I wonder if if they like figured out how to put it into another dub. So I'm gonna check that if I get the chance.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the other thing besides that too is also like every culture is different.
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes there were like adjustments to that where they would like, I mean, not so much anymore, but like in the 90s, obviously they changed her name from Dumpling Head to Meatball Head because that made it more, I don't know, understandable to the Western side.
I don't know. I don't think she's called that in German because it sounds weird in German. But she probably has another name. I can't think of it just now. But I'm going to look it up. Speaking of food, we were also talking about party food in our last episode. And I think that's also worth mentioning again, that if you want to have Sailor Moon themed food, you can easily think of that for a party or a gathering with your friends and think of what kind of food might fit the series. And I think you also already told me and our listeners what you did on your party where you had Sailor Moon themed food.
Yes. Yeah, like I had the Mars bars and moon pies and we used Skittles for the rainbow crystals. And yeah, and then like, oh my gosh, there's been a couple times where people have made me a cake that like looked like Sailor Moon's brooch, and that was both times. Those cakes were delicious. I must say.
It must. I think maybe at
some point.
It must be very sweet.
For sure. I think it'll be a great vlog sometime in the future. Do like a Sailor Moon party and like all the food and stuff. That'd be fun. Like a bento box, like
in your kitchen.
Different like candies. Yes. I wish you were like here in the States. We would definitely do that together. That'd be so fun.
Yes.
Anyways.
And also speaking of Sailor Moon themed food, I was thinking of the Sailor Moon cafes in Japan where they have different drinks for each senshi, and I don't know, do they have food for each senshi? I'm not sure, but they definitely have food that looks like the brooches, I think. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I don't know. But I saw so many pictures and it was like, oh, I want to be there and have some of those because they're so cute. Like you wouldn't even dare eat them because they look so pretty.
Yeah, I would have to like full on like bring my like DSLR camera and like take like a whole photo shoot with those things first because oh my gosh, they look so pretty. I'd feel so guilty like eating it even though it's meant to be eaten.
Yeah. But they're probably also very expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine it's probably really, really expensive to go there. But I would definitely, if I ever go to Japan and those are still there, I am definitely going to go to a Sailor Moon cafe.
I think you also have to book.
Make sure I have money.
Yeah, I think you also have to book a table in advance because they're so popular.
They have like a lot of different kinds of cafes over there. They have cat cafes and owl cafes and like.
But I think they should do that in other countries as well because not everyone has enough money to just go to Japan for a cafe. And I just want this in my country as well.
I want it here as well.
I mean, like, it would be so popular. I don't know why they're hesitating.
Don't hesitate. It's Toei Animation or whoever it is that puts together those things. I forget who the collaboration is, and I'm a bad Moonie for that. But like,
there's so many collaborations you can't keep up.
I know.
Also with the clothes
really,
and so on.
True.
It's just so much going on there.
That's true. Well, there's even like figurines and like little like other little sets that are actually like food related too. Like even like there's even like little toys and figurines like that. So like a lot actually. So yeah, do we want to jump into our game here?
Yes. So our listeners might remember that in the last episode we had a game at the end of our episode and we had so much fun with it. So we figured why not repeat that kind of game but with food actually. And think of what food the senshi would be.
Do you want to I guess
I kind of
I'll
want to
start this time because I think
Yeah, you can start.
But you have to ask me because last time I was asking you like, hey Michelle.
I think we should talk about Sailor Moon at the end because she's the main character. So, what did you think of Sailor Venus as food?
So, I pictured Sailor Venus, aka Minako, as bubble gum.
That's actually really accurate. Why? Why? Why did you choose that?
I think it's because, like, sometimes, like, you kind of associate it with, like, a sassy, like, kind of, like, girly girl, like, Valley Girl kind of character. Like, you know, like, in, like, the 90s when, like, they just, I don't know, like, it just seems like it would be, like, something she would do. I just picture her just kind of, like, standing around just, like, popping bubble gum.
It's actually funny.
I don't know.
It's actually funny. In 10th grade, we had like a group of girls in our class that were always hanging out together, and they're like, oh, the cool gang and so on. And my friends and I always called them bubblegums because they were the hip and cool ones. And now I think of it, it actually fits. So yeah, Minako fits in that group actually.
What did you do? What did you what was yours?
I thought it was quite stereotypical, but maybe it's not. I wrote down vanilla milkshake because I was thinking of them sitting in that booth drinking their milkshake, and I was thinking what flavor would she be, and I kind of thought of vanilla for no real reason actually. I just thought vanilla kind of fits her, maybe because of the color. But yeah.
Maybe. I feel like she would definitely have a cherry on top, though, or something.
Yeah,
like, some extra little pizzazz. Like, she would have some pizzazz to it. Like, not that cherry brings much pizzazz, but, like, just a little. Like, some whipped cream and a cherry on top. Like, it would be, like, a fancy, like, kind of bougie-looking milkshake.
So, let's go on. What did you write down for Mercury?
So, Mercury was interesting. It's not really a food.
Okay.
But I pictured seltzer. like you know, like the bubble water, like the kind of, to be honest, like I personally think is gross. But like a lot of
what
of
is Mercury?
People,
water.
like,
basically water.
But it's
That's funny.
I couldn't help but think water, but like okay, I'm thinking seltzer more than that. Like it's more than just because of the water.
Do ice cubes count? She's an ice cube. I didn't write that down, by the way. I wrote down something completely different.
Well, because I feel like out of all of them, Mercury would be the one to drink something that's like more healthy than like probably anybody else. I mean, like it's just like I don't know. I picture like from my experience, a lot of like moms like drink like seltzer.
Yes.
Like a lot of like there's a certain stereotype of like who drinks like seltzer water, and like there's bubbles. Like I don't know, like because Mercury's kind of like she's like kind of a little bit like the mom of the group. She's like the one who has like her head on like straight and is like, guys, like, why are we doing this? Like, we should be doing our homework, like. And I don't know. I just picture her with like drinking seltzer.
But it's actually funny that you said that she would go the healthy route, and I also thought something healthy, and then I was thinking of salad, and then I thought, okay, that's kind of lame. Maybe she would rather be some vegetable like celery or broccoli or something. So that's what I wrote down: celery and broccoli. Like, yeah,
Yes.
which is kind of lame, but also kind of
That
funny.
I was thinking about that too, like something healthy for sure. Like I don't know. Seltzer's basically just water with bubbles
Yeah,
in it, isn't it?
yeah,
So
that's
I mean,
true.
it's basically healthy. It you know, maybe should be like a flavored seltzer. Like most seltzers are flavored. Like probably a
With lemon in
blueberry
it,
like seltzer. Yes,
like
like
lemon. Yes.
yes. But yeah, that's what I came up with
Yeah.
because of the bubbles, because she's kind of like a mom figure, and because I could not
The
get my
responsible
brain away
one.
from water. Like yes, the
Yeah.
responsible one.
Okay, what do you have
Yeah,
for Mars?
Mars. I couldn't decide between a couple of things, but obviously Mars would be like a spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like those little like hot ball, like the cinnamon like candies,
Nope.
like those little like. Okay, maybe it's just an American
Cinnamon?
candy. I don't know, but like they're like
Spicy
these.
cinnamon?
They're
Okay.
like these like
Sounds
yes,
good.
they're like these. They're like hot, so like it's
Uh-huh.
like a little like round like candy or whatever. It's like a little red
Uh-huh.
like candy ball, and like they're like really hot. Like they're just called like
Okay.
hot balls or whatever. Or like fire. They're literally called fireballs
Uh-huh.
basically, and like so like it would be something like that, or like curry, like something spicy,
Curry
like
is a good
something hot
choice,
and
yeah.
spicy. Yeah, yeah. What about you? What did you pick?
I also thought it must be something spicy. And first I thought like something like a spicy dip for your tortillas or something. But then I wrote
Uh,
down something funny because I wanted to make you laugh. And then I wrote down jalapeno. Like
yeah,
that's really spicy. That's really
that is
hot.
really spicy. That would be like Mars '90s version where
Hmm.
she's like a little bit mean.
Yes.
Yes, like, or like I don't know, like
Cero
spicy
jalapeno.
salsa.
Yeah.
Yes, that's really funny. Now I think about it too. She could have also been like salsa, like
Oh yes,
spicy, like
true.
salsa. That makes
Salsa
sense
dip.
too.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. There's
True.
a lot. Like I don't know. For some reason, Mars is like easy. Like when with these kind of
That's really
games. I
easy.
don't.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was also the first thing I wrote down besides Sailor Moon.
Well, I mean, she's your favorite, so
Yeah. Okay, how about Jupiter? What food would she be?
Jupiter. Okay, I could not decide. Like she would obviously be a baked good of some sort. Like she would be like
Yes,
like
I agree.
she would
I
be
go
like a
on.
cookie. She would be like a cookie or like a brownie, but like not just like your average cookie or brownie, like not just like chocolate chip.
Hmm.
Like this would be like a brownie with like a caramel like in it, or like a cookie like one of those like really fancy like cookies like with like the frosting that looks all pretty and like it's like a really pretty shape with like a cherry in it. Like she would be like fancy. Either that or she'd be like a souffle.
Oh,
like,
really high
like
maintenance.
something really high maintenance, and not
Hmm.
because of like just because like I don't know, I pick like 'cause she's the cook, so
Hmm.
like it would be something that would be like only she would be able to pull off cooking. Yeah. What about you?
I also wrote down cookies, but wait for it. I wrote down homemade cookies because they're not just any cookies that you can buy in a store. They're homemade because she's always like the one
That
who
is
bakes or cooks for herself and not buys anything from the store, like done cookies that you just have to grab and then you can eat them, but they have to be special. So yeah, that's what I
yes,
wrote down.
yes. That's very true. Like it's like and like hot out of the oven like
Yes,
cookies, like warm
warm
with like a glass of milk. Oh yes.
and you can smell
Now I want
them.
cookies. Now I want like a fresh chocolate chip cookie from the oven. That's happening
I
today.
was also
That's
thinking
happening.
cherry pie because there's one of these character songs from the Sailor Moon Crystal album there, where they recorded character songs, and it was called Cherry Pie. So that could be her as well.
That's really
homemade cherry pie. Yeah.
That actually makes me think of something, which I'm going to come back to in a little bit. Yeah, we're going to come back to that once we're done with this game.
Yeah.
But, okay, who's left?
So we got Chibi Moon. What do you think she would be?
My little baby. Okay, well, she would definitely be either like a really cute little like cupcake with like pink frosting and like
pink all the way.
The, like really, oh yes, pink frosting with like pink like sugar, obviously pink sugar, like the sprinkles on top, like in a little cherry. Like she would be like a pink like cupcake, like that, like that. That's it. Like boom. Or she'd be a pixie stick. Because pink sugar, heart attack. Like a pixie stick? Oh, man. America.
I just realized you have foods that we don't even have over here, or maybe we just call them differently. Maybe we have that, but I don't know what it is.
Well, maybe it's just an American thing for all I know. It's basically a straw filled with sugar.
Oh, okay.
It's literally a straw filled with sugar.
Yeah, we just don't call it that way.
Yes, we call it pixie sticks over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, she's easy. Because pink sugar.
Yeah.
Heart attack.
True.
Like she'd have
pink.
sugar.
And pink, always pink.
And pink, always pink.
I also thought along the lines of pink food, and then I thought of strawberry ice cream. But then I had a better idea and figured out why not choose cotton candy, because it's fluffy, it's pink mostly, and it's sweet, so it kind of fits the whole theme more. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's a good one. That is very good.
And it's something
you got me beat.
Yeah, that's something that as a kid, whenever there were like stands on a, what do you call it? When there was a festival of some kind and there were different food stands, and as a kid my mom would always get me cotton candy, and that's something like I connect with childhood, and Chibi Moon is also like a little child, and somehow it fits.
Wow. No, that like fits like 100%. And not only that, but like you think of like carnivals.
Yes.
Which totally matches up with like season 4.
True.
Like it just like season 4 with like the circus and like the carnival stuff going on. Like, wow, you nailed that. Like that was so good. Wow, it blew me out of the water.
Okay, so what's left? It's Sailor Moon. What did you write down for Sailor Moon?
Well, I wrote down the obvious, I guess. I wrote down cake.
What kind of cake?
I wrote down cake.
Because cake is really...
Cake. Like chocolate cake with chocolate frosting, like devil's food cake, like all the way.
Like the one she ate in season 5 when she was transformed.
Yes! Yes. And let me just say, it's actually pretty terrible because right now I actually have a GIF of that up on my screen and I'm staring at it and it's making me want chocolate cake.
I also wrote down I also wrote down cake, but I wrote down carrot cake. Because of some sort I was thinking of the bunnies and carrots, and then my mind made the connection between carrots and cake, and I wrote down carrot cake.
Would she actually eat a carrot cake, though?
Oh, hold on. You have a point. Doesn't she hate carrots, actually?
I think Chibi Moon hates carrot. Wow, I think Chibi Moon hates carrots. I wonder about Usagi. We'll find that out.
I can't remember, but there was something about carrots.
But that's why I pictured like. Well, that's why I pictured Chibi Moon as a cupcake, because it's like a mini cake.
Yeah.
It's like a baby
Oh,
cake.
true.
So like there's Usagi's a cake, and then
It's a
Chibi
big
Moon's
cake.
a baby cake. Like,
You just reminded me
yeah.
of something my biology teacher said in fifth grade. Like, um, she wanted the class to be silent, and then she said, "When the cake speaks, the crumbles are silent," or something along the lines of that. Like she was the big cake, and the pupils were the crumbles of the cake.
That's adorable. That's really cute. Well, that probably got everybody's attention because she was talking about food.
Yeah. And everybody was silent.
Cake? Maybe if we're good, we'll get cake.
Yeah.
That's where my mind go. Now I want cake.
Come on, let's add another question. What would Mamoru be? What would Tuxedo Mask be if he was
Oh,
some sort
man.
of food? I haven't written anything down, so this is completely spontaneous.
Oh, wow.
What would he be? That's tricky, right?
Oh, that is tricky. I'll think about it for a second.
Yeah, maybe something healthy as well, because from his character, he's a bit similar to Ami, like wanting to be a doctor and so on. So it
That's
must be something
true.
healthy, but maybe something more fun
Okay,
than
I have-
a broccoli.
Or seltzer. Okay, I have two things in mind. I have two things. I feel like he would either be a coffee,
Uh-huh.
but like a cappuccino. Like a cappuccino.
Okay.
Like a little bit nicer than like a coffee.
Yes.
All right. Or an
Something-
apple. And I think of the apple because of the red, like a rose.
Uh-huh. True.
Like one or the other, like either an apple
Something red.
or like it'd be like really red, like a red apple, like Snow White red apple, like crunchy. Oh yeah, or a cappuccino.
Or something more fancy and more adult, like, for example, a wine, like a glass of red wine or something, because he's
Yeah.
more mature.
That's true.
And,
Or like
I know.
or like prime rib.
grapes.
Because
What?
I picked. Okay, hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I have already said before that my husband Andrew is a lot like Mamoru.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and well, his favorite food is prime rib. Like he loves steak,
Uh-huh.
like a nice steak.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's why I think. Like I feel like he would like, and like maybe even more than that, maybe like filet mignon, like,
Oh.
like a really like nice cut of steak.
Yes.
Like, maybe it's also because he's just really like handsome, and like you think of like, ooh, steak,
Yeah.
like.
Quite stereotypical for men, actually. Like, oh, men like steak.
Yeah.
Being
Okay,
barbecue
like
king.
I said, I'm like,
No, but that's good, actually.
okay,
So, yeah.
I'm thinking about it again because of the husband's like comparison, like that's why. I wonder what the viewers would think of these. I'm very interested to see what everybody has to say,
Yeah.
and see if you guys have a different idea of what each character would be.
Yeah,
Let us know in the
comment below.
comments.
Yeah, please, I want to know.
Yes,
There's
is
so
what
many
we said
possibilities.
accurate? Yes. Oh my gosh, we need to have more of these
Yes.
games. I love this.
We could do them on Twitter casually. Like
Yes,
once a
that'd be
week.
so great. No, I gotta save them for the podcast.
True. Maybe we can make an episode like entirely with games.
That would be great. That would
Yeah.
be so
Let us
fun.
know in the comments if you'd like something like that, or suggest other topics that you would think are interesting.
Yes, please
Because,
do.
So as always, we prepared a quote for the end of this episode, and since we talked about food in this one, of course, we chose a quote that has something to do with food.
Absolutely. So we actually picked the quote from the episode with all the cake, and the quote was, "You're right, cake is nourishment for the heart." And considering the fact that I chose cake as Usagi, aka Sailor Moon, I think that pretty much connects it pretty well. I mean, Sailor Moon is nourishment for the heart. It always makes me happy. I know it makes you happy. It always puts me in a good mood. You know?
I think that quote is really accurate for the series as well, because the quote says nourishment for the heart, and somehow we just talked about how food can be something that people bond over. So that's also kind of adding up to a friendship, and that's also nourishing for the heart and also good for your heart. And yeah. And also how if you prepare food for your loved ones, there's also food in the food. There's also love put in the food, so there's also kind of the same theme here.
Wow, that was good, Michelle. That was really good. I like that.
Yeah, so
I think that wraps up this episode nicely. We have run out of time for today, but we hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think about our thoughts, and if you could think of any other times in the series where food took a major part in the episode or what have you. So I'm very interested to see what your thoughts on this topic are. Feel free to leave a comment below.
And while you're commenting, please let us know what your favorite food is and what you think the Sailor Senshis would be if they were food.
Including a Sailor Moon quote at the end of each episode here is something that we'd like to do going forward. So if you guys have a special or favorite Sailor Moon quote that you'd like to include in a future episode, feel free to let us know what that is down in the comments. Let us know what episode it's from and who's saying it, and we'd love to be able to include it.
And if you have any other suggestions, for example, if there's a certain aspect or topic that concerns Sailor Moon that you want us to talk about, then let us know also in the comments. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please give us a like. And if you want to stay up to date, you can follow my account and LunaTK's account, because the bloopers to each episode are going to be on her channel. Until next time, this is Michelle from Heart Panorama.
And I'm LunaTK. And we hope you found this podcast MOONIELICIOUS.
Talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.